Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second annual Notre Dame College Honor Band Concert and the Festival. My name is Timothy Little, and I am the Executive Director of Performing Arts, as well as the Assistant Professor of Music here at NDC. We are honored to have talented art students and our high school students on stage with us this evening. We are even more honored to have our family, friends, the Sisters of Notre Dame, and the fellow artists that are in the audience. Your support, along with our donors, help make this a reality. Before we start tonight's program, I do want to go over a few house rules. We ask that you turn off all cell phones or anything that rings or dings. If you're sitting next to a child that starts to cry, or maybe also an adult, we ask that you exit the auditorium immediately as the concert is being taped professionally. We do ask that you do not take any photography with flash, but feel free to take as many pictures and videos as long as you post them to your social media, your networks, and you tag NDC Performing Arts and use our hashtag that is on the front of your program. Thank you again for coming, and it is my honor to welcome the President of our institution, President Thomas Krueger, for the opening remarks.
Thanks, Timothy. Good evening and welcome. The performing arts are a large and an exciting part of what we have happening here at the Notre Dame College experience. They offer so much for our students and give them many opportunities to get involved with things that they are passionate about. Last year's High School Band Festival was a great success, and this year's, the second annual, has exceeded our expectations by far. We are delighted that you students are here, and I hope you've been enjoying and learning. In the liberal arts education we offer here at Notre Dame, getting outside your classroom, your school, your teachers and fellow musicians is such a valuable way to learn and gain a fresh perspective on your work. Be proud of yourselves. This is an honors program, and every student here shows great promise. All are here because they've been nominated by their high school instrumental directors. Parents and instructors, rightfully share in that pride. You have done great work to get your students to this point. What these students have accomplished this weekend will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Not every word or every lesson or every chord, but I guarantee that someday, hopefully many days, something important will strike them almost in a magical way. Single notes have been planted this weekend that will blossom someday into a beautiful melody. Beyond music, they are deepening their knowledge in a way that only a liberal arts education can give them. They are learning the value of discipline, collaboration, learning, time management, presenting in public, and much, much more. They are learning to be comfortable in ways that you cannot learn from a textbook. What a marvelous opportunity for them. Next fall, we plan to offer two new majors that incorporate a business component into two popular performing arts majors, music and theater. They'll bring business entrepreneurship education into the arts programs. Every artistic program and performance requires a great amount of support resources. These majors will prepare graduates for a variety of careers associated closely with the performing arts industry off of the stage. That includes development, marketing, sales, logistics, stage setup, direction, and more. There's a whole world of opportunities beyond what we see on the stage. Once again, welcome to our campus. We're delighted that you spent time with us, and we wish you continued success in your future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. 3 years ago, 1 year before the first Honor Band Festival, a young man came to my office and shared with me a crazy, crazy dream about how he wanted to transform our Department of Music into a program that was known in the area, that was dynamic, and that also had a unique twist. And trust me, it was really out there. It was out there. But he shared with me his vision of a program that was centered around the student, not the musician, but first the student. It was a lot of hard work, and here we are now, 3 years, with, as you walked in, you saw some drywall. It was really nice and gorgeous, right? But that will start a year-long program and project to renovate for the first time since it was built this entire space to a new and renovated performing arts space for music, theater, and dance. And here we are now at the second annual Honor Band Festival that all started from a dream, a crazy dream, from a young man who is actually now my very dear friend and director of instrumental studies, and I welcome him to the stage, Mr. Michael Krueger.
Good evening. I'm the last one. There's not a lot. I'm not inviting a lot more guests now. We're good. Thank you, Timothy, for the kind words. Well, I'm really glad to have all of you here, from the high school students, to the parents, to the community members, our staff and faculty. I'm delighted to have you here for our second annual Honor Band Festival. For the first part of the concert, the Notre Dame College Wind Symphony, the group you see right before you, will be performing 4 different pieces. Our guest conductors for the high school honor band were also invited to conduct a piece with our college ensemble. So our very first piece is entitled Tribute by a local Cleveland composer, John Pasternak, who writes exclusively for winds, percussion, marching band, wind ensembles. And our local and regional guest conductor, Mr. Brett Dawson from the Vermillion School District. Mr. Dawson will be leading this ensemble for the first piece. Please welcome Mr. Dawson to the podium.
It's on. It's fine. We're gonna play.
For the Wind Symphony's second selection, we will be performing a piece by Eric Whitaker, originally for choir that he wrote in the early 2000s, Light and Gold, which he adapted for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Wind Orchestra in the early 2000s, and that is the version that you will hear tonight. For this selection, we've also invited our national guest conductor, who's from Roanoke, Virginia, Mr. Zac Sweeney, and he will be conducting the ensemble on this piece. Please welcome Mr. Zac Sweeney. Our next piece is a 5-movement work entitled Silhouette by Roger Keachie. Roger Keachie is predominantly a wind band composer, has many wind works that have been pretty famous, including his geometric dances and bugs. These are different, pretty well-known wind ensemble works. On the honorment concert for the wind symphony portion, we like to feature one of our faculty soloists with our band. And last year we featured our trumpet soloist, and this year we get to feature one of our very own who's been working with the band here for as long as I've been here for the past 2.5 years. and someone who's become a very good friend and who's just a fantastic musician and educator. For this piece, for this year, we were looking for something a little bit different. As you can tell, we're set up a little bit kind of like a jazz ensemble, as you can see up here. And we were looking for something that could be a little modern, really fun, and engaging. Something just maybe you've never heard before. And it was very appropriate to select the soloist that we did for this. The soloist that you're going to hear is our assistant professor of music and our instructor of woodwinds here at Notre Dame College, Alicia Gallucci. Alicia received her degrees. Her most recent was her master's in performance from Cleveland State University and flute performance. And she's been on staff here, like I said, for 2.5 years. And I really love working with her. She's a delight. She's wonderful with the students, makes great music. And I'm just so thrilled to have her with us. Before we start this piece and I introduce her to the stage, this is a 5-movement work. And I do ask that you hold applause to the very end. That way we're not, it doesn't become 5 minutes longer. So just hold the applause for the end until we're over. And now, please, welcome our assistant professor of music, Alicia Gallucci. Before we begin our final, on our part of the concert, our final selection, Dance by the League, I have one or two things I'd like to comment about regarding the Wind Symphony here at Notre Dame College. The first comment is to everyone you see right here, to my right, your left. The ensemble, we meet twice a week for a couple hours each time, and we only started our semester 5 weeks ago. And so in order for us to prepare this concert, we really worked quite hard. That's something that I feel is really important to acknowledge. We have instant gratification a lot now, and one of the things that can be difficult is working on music that isn't obtainable on the first day, that takes a lot of time and patience and hard work. I think that's probably the thing I'm most proud about these students over here, is that what I found over the years is what makes a great band isn't what you already know, it's what you're willing to learn. And I have found that every day that these students come in with a great mindset, and they work really hard for not just myself, for the staff, and for everyone around us. So just on my end to you guys, thank you guys so much for a great start to the semester. You guys are wonderful folks. How about a round of applause for this one symphony right here? Speaking along the lines of thanking people and acknowledging, there's an individual in this ensemble who I want to recognize. This is a little bit different. I would normally do this at the end of the semester, but this student has already stuck out so much to me this year, and in particular this semester, that I feel like it's appropriate to go ahead and award this at this concert. This student comes in, works extremely hard every day, full of optimism, hard work, dedication, passion, commitment, kindness, all the things that make a great musician, the things that make a great person. And this student, every day in and out, is someone who I enjoy talking with, has great ideas, he influences others in a very positive way, and he's only in his first year in this ensemble. And I have to tell you, I'm very proud to have him here, and it's been a real delight There's an award I get called the Director Award. It goes to someone who I think not just achieves excellence, but also demonstrates excellence inside the classroom, outside the classroom, on the stage, in their personal lives, and as a profession. And this award goes to someone who I really think is just phenomenal. So the Director Award for this semester for our wind ensemble for Notre Dame College goes to Clayton Neeson. And now it's time for our final selection. Dance Style League, which features a whole ensemble on about a 7-minute dance piece that takes you on a wild ride. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed our portion. Right after we're done, we will set up the high school honors group. We're delighted and really excited to hear you guys play as well. Here's Gary Zeeks, Dance Style League. Thank you. All right, we are going to begin our second portion of this concert. Our second half here is what you see right here is the high school honor band. Our concert, our weekend, it's a 2-day festival that started yesterday with registration at 2 p.m. And this event, we had a rehearsal last night for 2.5 hours. We had a rehearsal this morning for 3 hours. And we had another 2.5-hour rehearsal this afternoon. So, within under 10 hours, these students prepared 4 different pieces of music to perform for you here tonight. One of the greatest things about an honor band festival is the ability to listen to a student grow, or an ensemble grow, from where they first start to where they end. And it's a pretty incredible thing to listen to. Yesterday they came in, not ever playing in this ensemble before, with individuals to their left and right, and in front and behind them. They have never played with these conductors before. We have never worked together. And making music takes a lot of trust and a lot of mutual respect. And one of the things that these students have is just a tremendous amount of respect. They're great people. All 3 of the conductors have been very impressed by all of you and how you carry yourselves and how you represent your schools. Everyone, parents and students, or parents and schools, administrators and all, should be very proud of what you're going to hear over the next half hour. To start off this concert, or to start off this portion, we invite Mr. Zac Sweeney back up to the podium to work on Half Moon on the Hudson, which is a piece by Michael Sweeney. Mr. Zac Sweeney is the director of bands at Lindbergh High School in Roanoke, Virginia. He received his undergraduate degree in music education from Jacksonville State University, and then after and during college, he marched in drum corps, and then began what's called Impact the Outcome, a leadership marching band camp that takes place in Virginia over the summer. Mr. Sweeney is a fantastic music educator and conductor, and we've been really blessed to have him here the past 3 days, 2 days with this group and 3 days with the college. It is my pleasure to introduce officially our national guest conductor for this year's festival, Mr. Zac Sweeney, with Half Moon on the Hudson by Michael Sweeney.
our second selection with the honor ensemble, we have our second conductor. This is a newer addition to what we do this year. We invite a regional and a local conductor and educator to join us for the Honor Ring Festival. And I thought it was very appropriate to bring in the gentleman who you're about to see next. Mr. Brett Dawson is the Assistant Director of Bands at Vermillion High School and Sailor Way Middle School, where I had the distinct pleasure of meeting him about a year ago this time, and it was very, very obvious very quickly to me that he's a fantastic educator. And again, kind of along the themes we've been talking about, just a really genuine and kind and thoughtful human being. I have found that as an educator with his ensembles, he really, really communicates and reaches to the students because of his mannerisms of being a true professional and just a genuine guy. I've really had a great pleasure going on, like I said, Mr. Dawson for a year, but it really feels like I've known him for a very long time. I think the students have greatly enjoyed working with him. He has a fine program that he works with at Vermillion. Currently working on finishing his master's in music right now from Capital University down in Columbus, and he's a fine conductor and educator. Please welcome to the podium, with Matt McKeever's piece, Adventure Awaits, Mr. Brett Dawson. the next piece you're going to hear is a piece called Highlander Heaven. And you'll see next to there a name that might look familiar. It's my name. I'm the composer of the piece you're about to hear next, called Highlander Heaven, and this piece was how I actually met Mr. Sweeney. So when I was 4 years ago, when I was studying my master's degree in Indianapolis, I got an email from a gentleman that I did not know yet, but I'm really glad I know now, Zac. He was still, and he still is, the director of bands at Glenborough High School. And he was looking to do a new piece of music for his group, the Highlanders. So he wanted a piece of music with a little bit of this Celtic influence. And so it turns out that when I was 15, the very first piece I ever wrote was for band, and it was called the Celtic Overture. And so we kind of thought it would be really fun to take some of the old ideas. So what you're going to hear with Highlander Heaven, about a quarter of the piece was written about 14 years ago, and I didn't touch any of it. And the rest of it was when I was about mid-20s, with knowing what I was doing. So so you put them together, it's an interesting thing, but I'm really proud that that's how I met Zac. And it was kind of just over email, and then I went out to a show to work with his marching band, and I did that for a couple of years, and we brought him up here, and now really I consider him a very dear friend, and he really did an excellent job with him and his band at the world premiere 4 years ago. And so when I invited him to be the guest conductor this year, we really thought it was appropriate that we brought this piece back for these high school students to experience. So that's my introduction to this piece. I believe Mr. Sweeney has a few words as well.
So we are very excited to show you this piece of music. I have been blessed to have been able to teach all over. I did my student teaching down in Alabama, and I teach my students in Virginia, and now I've gotten to meet these wonderful students here in Ohio. And band kids are just the best. They're just the absolute best, and I can truly say that it's really cool to see that everywhere I go, band kids are still just fun, respectful, happy kids, and it's an absolute pleasure to teach them. I've learned a lot from you guys over the last couple of days. I hope you feel you've learned something from me as well. We're really excited to show you this piece, so I hope you will enjoy Highlander Heaven.
Before we conclude this 2019 Honor Band Festival, this is our second year doing it, and I have to tell you, it's been an absolute thrill. Like I said, just like 20 minutes ago, meeting these students a day ago. A few of you I've seen before. Who returned this year? Who came back? Oh yeah, we're glad to have you back. And for the folks who are new, we're also so good to have you. I wanted to acknowledge each school just real quick and give them a little thank you. We were able to get a nice little plaque that they could hang up at their home with our Honor Band Festival with the information in their school. And I'd just like to give a presentation or give one to each student to represent their school. So the first person I actually want to acknowledge is our guest conductor, Mr. Zac Sweeney. If you could come back out here real quick. Mr. Sweeney? Thank you for everything you've done this weekend. And also Mr. Brett Dawson. From Harding High School, we'd like to have someone come up and accept theirs. There was one of the schools that came back for both years they've been here, Harding High School. We have a representative from there coming up. Harding High School, we're glad to have you here. Smithville High School. St. Paul High School. Constellation Schools, Parma Community. St. Ignatius High School. Cardinal High School. Euclid High School. Crestview High School. And last but not least, Vermilion High School. What these students do is not easy. And as I said earlier, we live in a time where instant gratification is very much a thing. Working hard for a common goal with people you don't know is not an easy thing. And when you're the ages of these folks right over here, it takes a lot of commitment and effort. And as I said earlier, they're really great people. Hearing them just develop over the past day, they're going to go back to their programs and really be able to be the leaders in their schools and do great things. For all of you here, you guys are always welcome to come back to our school and play with our band. We hope to see you in the future for future years in our honor bands. But don't be a stranger. Sincerely, all of you guys are always welcome back to be a part of this program, and I would love to have any and all of you. So how about a big round of applause for all of these students? The last little item of business is when you walked in, you probably saw that we had a little booth up there. And you might have seen that we had 50-50 going on. You might want to pull those tickets out if you have those. So the prize is $85 cash prize today, which is great. And the winner of this, okay, so I don't want anyone to think, if I pull a Notre Dame person, they're going to go, "Ooh, okay." So I need someone to come over here real quick. All right, Dylan, come on over. Dylan, come on, have a round for Dylan over here, right? All right. All right, Dylan. How's that one? All right. Want to read the number? Yeah. Come on over.
5, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1.
You're the winner? Congratulations, says Dylan. You can claim your prize over here with Vicky. To conclude our portion of the whole concert and in the evening, we want to do something pretty uplifting and very fun. This is a classic march by Carl King entitled Circus Days. Again, we really appreciate you all joining us this evening. You guys are a delight, and the parents, you should be very proud of your students, and same with the faculty and administration of these schools. Band directors, you guys are phenomenal. I love talking to you throughout the week. You guys are all great. So really hope you enjoyed year number 2, and I look forward to seeing you next year for year number 3. Here's Carl King's Circus Days. Thank you very much, and after this, I hope you have a great evening.